Sometimes the truth arrives when we least expect it. Sometimes one moment can break a heart, and sometimes the person we trust the most becomes the reason for our deepest pain. On a quiet, rainy evening, a young man named Aarav came home earlier than usual. He wasn't supposed to return that day, but something in his heart, something he couldn't explain, pushed him back home. As he walked toward his house, the street was cold and silent. The windows of his home were glowing softly with warm yellow light. Everything looked normal. Everything looked peaceful. But the truth waiting inside was anything but peaceful. Aarav paused at the door. He heard voices. Not loud, not angry, just sharp, cold, and filled with impatience. He opened the door slowly, and what he saw stopped his breath. His mother, an elderly woman with weak, trembling hands, was struggling to get up from the dining chair. Her face looked pale. Her lips were shaking, and next to her stood Aarav's wife Maya, frustrated, annoyed, and tired. A glass of water lay spilled on the floor, and Maya didn't care. Aarav froze. His heart tightened. His throat went dry. For a second he couldn't move. He couldn't speak. He just watched. His mother looked terrified, like she had been hiding her pain for too long. And Maya's face showed irritation, not concern. Aarav stepped forward. His footsteps were slow, heavy, emotional. His mother looked up and her eyes widened. Tears filled them instantly, not because she was happy he was home, but because she was afraid he had seen too much. He walked toward her, gently lifted her hand, and whispered softly, "Are you okay?" She nodded, but her eyes told the truth. She wasn't okay. She had been hurting. She had been scared. She had been silent. Aarav turned to his wife. Maya looked shocked. Not guilty, just caught. There was silence. A silence louder than words, louder than anger, louder than screams. Aarav didn't yell. He didn't ask questions. He didn't blame. He simply watched her. And that silence made her uncomfortable. She looked away. Suddenly the memories came rushing back. A year ago, when Aarav decided to bring his mother to live with them, he believed it would be beautiful. He believed Maya would accept her. He believed love would make space. But over time Maya changed. The kindness faded. Patience disappeared. Respect turned into burden. His mother slowly stopped speaking. She stopped asking for help. She stopped smiling. She became smaller, quieter, weaker, because she feared she was no longer welcome. Aarav realized something painful. His mother wasn't living with them. She was surviving. He took a deep breath, sat beside her, held her frail hands. She looked at him with a sad smile, a smile mothers give when they don't want their children to worry. He gently wiped her tears, and in that moment he made a decision, a quiet decision, a powerful one. He stood up, walked to Maya, and simply said, "She is my mother, and no one will ever make her feel unwanted again." His voice was soft but unshakable. Maya didn't respond. Her eyes filled with tears, maybe guilt, maybe regret, maybe fear. Aarav didn't argue. He didn't punish, he didn't hate. He simply chose love. The pure kind, the kind that protects, the kind that remembers sacrifice. That night, Aarav made tea for his mother. He wrapped a warm shawl around her shoulders. He sat beside her until she fell asleep. He watched her breathe, slowly, peacefully, for the first time in months. And while watching her, he remembered. He remembered her waking up early just to pack his school lunch. He remembered her waiting outside his classroom when he forgot his books. He remembered her skipping meals so he could have enough. He remembered her hands, once strong, now shaking. And he whispered, "I'm here now. I won't fail you again." Days passed. Things began to change. Maya tried, not because she had to, but because she finally saw the truth. She saw the love between mother and son. She saw the sacrifices hidden in silence. She saw the strength of a woman who had raised a man with kindness. Slowly, gently, Maya began helping. She started with small steps, a blanket adjusted, a glass of water offered kindly, a chair pulled with patience, a soft smile shared. It wasn't perfection, it wasn't instant, but it was change. And sometimes change is the most beautiful apology. With time, the home felt warm again. The silence became soft, not heavy. The atmosphere shifted from tension to respect. Aarav's mother smiled again. She laughed again. Her eyes shined again, not because life became easy, but because she finally felt safe. One evening, as they all sat together watching the sunset, Aarav's mother placed her hand on Maya's and whispered with a shaky voice, "Thank you for trying." And Maya cried, not because she was weak, but because forgiveness is stronger than any punishment. That night, Aarav looked at both of them and realized something. Sometimes life tests relationships not to break them, but to teach us how to love better. At the end of this story, remember this: the world is full of people who lose their parents while they are still alive, not because death took them, but because pride, ego, and impatience pushed them away. So protect the ones who protected you. Care for the ones who cared for you. Love the ones who chose you before themselves. Because parents are blessings we often realize too late. Kindness toward those who raised us isn't responsibility, it's gratitude.